Hey everyone, I'm Trevor and today we're here for a July construction update at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. There is a lot to cover, and I mean a lot. There's a lot going on this month, so get ready and let's get going. We'll begin our construction update over here at the Opera House in Town Square of Main Street. No signage yet for Walt Disney A Magical Life. I expected there would be, as they filed a permit earlier this month for signage, but still none. 3 weeks away from the opening day of Walt Disney A Magical Life, and still no signage here at the Opera House. And of course, this is just a reminder as well that Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln will not return for an undisclosed amount of time, simply stated as after the initial run of Walt Disney A Magical Life. This could be a few months, or it could be the entire 70th anniversary. I'll take the conservative approach and say that I don't expect to see Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln again until September of 2026 at the earliest, at which point it will enter into a rotation with Walt Disney A Magical Life, since they turned the stage into a turntable, allowing both shows to run concurrently. The Main Street Cinema here is set to close for 2 days right before July 17th. It'll be closed on July 15th and 16th as they switch this over to The Last Verse, that documentary they put out in November of 2024. It will be showing here at this theater on Main Street, the Main Street Cinema, but it'll close for 2 days while they make the change. Over here at Adventureland, I have some good news. Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room is opening early. What was originally announced as not reopening until late summer has turned into July 3rd. Yes, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room closed on Monday, April 28th, and is set to reopen just 2 months later on Thursday, July 3rd. Just in time for the warmer weather, so if you have been bummed about your reprieve from the heat, it's opening again. If you missed my previous construction updates, this is predominantly to remodel the Tangaroa animatronic tree at the exterior of the attraction, but I expect some updates to the animatronics inside as well, as there were things that weren't working the last time I rode it. Or not rode it, it's not a ride, but went in and saw it. We'll have to go see it again once it opens and check up on those sorts of things. Starting on Tuesday, July 1st, Pirates of the Caribbean will no longer be on the Lightning Lane Multipass. It was added last January when Haunted Mansion closed for 6 months as a replacement for Haunted Mansion and was always meant to be temporary. If you're wondering, it is currently broken, so that's why there's nobody in line here. But after Haunted Mansion reopened in July, many of us expected that the Lightning Lane would disappear, and the Lightning Lane scan-in points are right over here. Down off to our left. So this whole left-hand side of the queue is mostly dedicated towards Lightning Lane. And earlier this month, they took it off for a couple of days. Then they put it back, I guess just as maybe like a test. And now it's going to be coming off permanently. And honestly, this is a really good thing. I mean, I'm saying that as somebody who predominantly waits standby anyway. But whenever there is Lightning Lane for this attraction, the standby line can come all the way out to here, and it'll go beyond this planter, and we'll just keep walking, and I'll show you just how far the standby line goes. But it takes up a lot of space in this area. This is already a congested space. There's no lines right now for Pirates of the Caribbean. And look at the amount of people. And this is first thing in the morning. It's like 8:50 a.m. Imagine later at like 11 or 1 o'clock when there's even more people. And then take up like most of the space, at least half of this space. Thank you. Appreciate that. There is a little like dot over there. There's a dot right here. This is where they put the poles. They can put poles in here, they create the queue, and they fill this whole space up with queue. It reduces the walking space, it creates more congestion, and the lines just take up this whole area. So I'm hoping that by removing Lightning Lane Multipass, they won't have the line for Pirates of the Caribbean taking up all this space anymore. If you are enjoying this video and finding it helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And if you want to save money on your next Disneyland vacation, call my friends at Getaway today and tell them that SoCal Disney Dad sent you. Or click the link down in the description and use my coupon code to save on their already discounted hotel and ticket packages. Casey Jr. Circus Train will be closing on Monday, July 28th in conjunction with Storybook Land Canal Boats. They have a separate closure date for the canal boats. The work being done is actually on the canal boats, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But a casualty of that is the Casey Jr. Circus Train, which shares the same area, will also be closed. And over here at Storybook Land Canal Boats, this area is actually going to close first, beginning on July 21st, Monday, July 21st, as the majority of the construction, as I said, will happen here at this attraction. And then Casey Jr. Circus Train will be closing a week later on Monday, July 28th. Both of them have no known reopening date available as of yet. The calendar currently goes through August 7th. So the construction calendar, the refurb calendar online only goes out 6 weeks. August 7th is as far as we have, and they're still listed as closed as of that time. Permits were filed by Disney to add a new show element with a 10-foot maximum height with a steel column that will utilize existing footing. They'll also be adding a retaining wall and 2 trellis arches along with electrical throughout the attraction. There's some online speculation about what's going on here. One person is hoping for some new IP with a whole new display. I kind of doubt that though, as it just doesn't sound like a large enough project for that. It more or less sounds like they're doing some work on the Aladdin arches to me, perhaps fixing some things that need updating, I don't know. Someone else said that they might be adding something in the queue area here, queue area right next to me, and that thought did occur to me as well, reading the permit, just when it's talking about like trellises and steel beams and things, but it's not exactly super clear on what's going on or where it's going, just what they're doing. And so they're adding in some electrical, they're adding in a new steel beam and some trellis arches. Whether the trellis arches are replacing some arches, which is why I was thinking the Aladdin arches, or if they're new arches, we just don't know. It's just based on what the permit says. That's all the information we have. It's a Small World is set to get its new verse beginning on Thursday, July 17th for Disneyland's actual 70th birthday. This final verse was gifted to Disneyland by Richard Sherman before his passing. Along with this, the short film produced by Disney entitled The Last Verse, which came out in November, as we already mentioned, will be hitting the Main Street cinema. So these things coincide. The show in the cinema is about this last verse. You can watch that, and then you can actually hear the last verse here on It's a Small World, again, beginning on Thursday, July 17th. One of 2 major headliners for this video in terms of important things to make note of. Matterhorn Bobsleds, of course, going to continue to be a major item of note in every single construction update until we have some news about when this thing is going to end. Matterhorn Bobsleds closed on Monday, May 5th. And as of now, that is Thursday, June 26th, still has no reopening date. The refurb calendar, again, goes clear through August 7th, and we still have no opening date. That's a 3-month closure so far, from the time that it started till August 7th. It's not unusual for Matterhorn to go down in May, like it did. What is unusual is the length of the closure. It's rare for the closure to extend beyond 5 weeks, so here we are looking at 3 months. And still no idea how much longer it's going to be after that. When permits were filed back in March, it was to replace and install new cameras and illuminators, modify existing rock work, install new fall protection, and modify some electrical work in the tracks that I don't really understand. All of this seems fairly backstage and doesn't affect the guest experience. And sometimes with these long closures, we hope that they're doing something to improve our enjoyment of the ride, but oftentimes it's just maintenance to keep the ride running and up to code. My friend David from Fresh Baked shared his theory on what they're doing. He admitted that he doesn't know if it's true or not, but he feels like it's a pretty accurate guess. And that is that the track work was built into the mountain when they originally built the ride, and all the pressure from use puts wear and tear on the mountain itself then. And so that permit info about the track that I didn't understand is basically probably them removing the track from being embedded in the mountain and instead putting it on top of the mountain, so like raising it up a little bit. A very minor change in track location, but one that will hopefully reduce maintenance needs in the long run. Pixie Hollow has another reopening date, and I feel pretty good about this one. After being closed since Sunday, September 15th, 2024, it's finally set to reopen on Sunday, June 29th. There is a schedule posted online now, and it looks like it'll be open 5 days a week, being closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is a bit odd. I don't remember this being closed at all before, but admittedly, I never really paid that close attention to it. But since there is a schedule posted online, maybe we can actually hold our breath on this one. For our next item, does anyone know where I am right now? Want to take your guesses before I mention it? Pan this way a little bit. Got any hints? Got any thoughts? Yeah, if you know, you know. If you didn't, this is the Tomorrowland Theater. And on June 11th, Disneyland filed a new confidential permit regarding the Tomorrowland Theater. Well, once the home of Captain EO, the last thing this theater was used for was Star Wars Path of the Jedi, which closed with the COVID closure and never reopened. This theater has sat dormant ever since 2020, so it's been 5 years. I wouldn't get your hopes up though, because permits have been filed for it in the past, most recently in November of 2023, to fix some electrical. Considering this is confidential though, I mean, it doesn't give any details about what they're doing, so let's hope something exciting is coming. More than likely though, based on some online chatter, it's just some improvements to the exterior of the building that are guest-facing. Why that would be confidential, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Here's a new one for you. Star Tours will close on Monday, June 30th with no known reopening date. That's at least a 6-week closure for Star Tours. And as a reminder, the refurb calendar currently goes out to August 7th. I know I keep saying that, but I want to remind you. So it will be closed the entirety of July, which of course is the primary focus of this video. Some speculation here is that Star Tours is getting a content update, but I doubt this. It's possible, and I'm not saying it's not, but in the past, Disney has been very upfront about telling fans when new scenes are coming to build hype. I mean, there's been absolutely no news about this, and I just don't see Disney quietly dropping new scenes. They've announced new scenes coming to Millennium Falcon, and it's not dropping for another year. I just don't see them keeping this sort of information to themselves. It's a win-win to announce new scenes. I'll tell you what I'd love for them to do with Star Tours. I'd love for them to rip it out, like completely rip it out, and move it to Galaxy's Edge. But there's no space over there, so the only way that that works is if they remove the Fantasyland Theater and then replace it with the Star Tours show building and have the queue walk under the Disneyland Railroad. Plus, Galaxy's Edge is distinctly in the First Order era, and Disney is pretty uptight about their timeline, which is why there's no classic Star Wars in Galaxy's Edge. No Vader, no Death Star. It only has characters and rides that are alive around the time of the sequel trilogy. News broke earlier this month that Wondrous Journeys will pause during the Halloween season, which is to be expected as it's to be replaced with Halloween Screams. Halloween Screams is, of course, the Halloween fireworks show, and it'll operate very similar to other fireworks shows here at Disneyland. You can expect that fireworks will run, weather permitting, and if there are dates throughout the week where fireworks don't run, you'll just have to check the entertainment calendar for that. But the show will still run along with the projections. They often just won't run fireworks. And if the weather does not permit fireworks, they'll still have the projection show. So they still run a nighttime show. You're going to have to take a look specifically at the entertainment schedule for the dates that you're coming to see whether or not fireworks will be running. I feel like during the Halloween season, fireworks are nightly, but there are times of the year where, like during the week, it's projections only. So again, just double check before you come. For lunch today, we are coming to Bengal Barbecue for my first repeat of 70th anniversary food. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. And here it is, the grilled Tahitian ribs. These guys were one of my favorite items of the 70th anniversary, so it's fitting that they will be a repeat. We do have a bit of some gristle there. And are these still bones? Yeah, they're still bones. They covered the bones in sauce. The bones are supposed to be what you use to pick it up, so that's going to make this quite messy. But anyway, I really like this item. When we were in Hawaii for our vacation at the end of May, I got some kalbi ribs that were very, very similar to this. And so I'm hoping to enjoy a little bit of that again. I remember that the flavor was pretty identical. I got those when we went to the Polynesian Cultural Center. If you have not yet watched our Hawaii vacation series, every single video from start to finish is now up on the channel. If you're one of those people that was kind of waiting for all the videos to be out, you didn't want to have to wait a couple of days for the next installment. I think there are 8 videos in total, and all of them are on the channel right now. I'll put a link to that playlist in the description as well as at the end of this video. Well, the verdict? Grilled Tahitian ribs, definitely not kalbi. I remembered it being pretty similar, but I just had that one again after having the kalbi, and definitely not the same. It's probably the flavoring, because like the style, the cut of the meat, it seemed very similar. It had the bones built into it, just like this, so you could pick up the bones and eat it and bite the meat off of it. This one, you know, preparation is always a little bit different every time you come to Disney. And so even if I recommend something as having been amazing, and then you come, it might be made differently. Case in point, this is the second time I've got that item, and there was hardly any meat on it, hardly any. It was like the bone was just as big as the meat. Like half of that you saw, half of it was bone. A very little meat on there. I felt like the last time there was a lot more meat. I'm gonna put video footage of what was in there last time, just so you can compare the two and how they were prepared differently and how they appeared on the plate. It's hopping time. Let's go on over to Disney California Adventure now. There's a lot of stuff over here too, a lot. And we're just gonna jump right into the biggest news to hit Disney this past month. And if you are even the least bit aware of what's going on in the Disney sphere, you've probably already heard about this, heard about it from a dozen different people, because I did not make a video immediately after the news dropped. Many other people did, but they did announce where Avatar is officially coming. A lot of people had theorized it was going to be in the Hollywood backlot, and indeed it is. Avatar is going to take up a portion of the Hollywood backlot, as it said. So what is safe? In my opinion, what do I think is going to be safe? All we know is it will take up a portion of the Hollywood backlot. I believe that Mickey's PhilharMagic is safe. I believe that Smoothies is safe. I believe that the Animation Building is safe. The Hyperion is safe. None of that is getting ripped out. So a portion of the Hollywood backlot, meaning that this all here will be untouched and left alone. So we go over here to Hollywood Studios. What we do know, what we do have as confirmed 100%, is that Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue is permanently closing. Early 2026, that ride will close permanently and will be ripped out to make way for the Avatar expansion, the Avatar project, the new land that they're going to build back here. Now, the biggest question that is going to be involved with this is the monorail. The monorail goes right through this area, and I believe it'd be way too expensive for them to reroute the monorail, because I don't believe that the pillars are to existing code, and if they make any updates to the track, they have to essentially bring the entire thing up to code. So I think that's way too costly for them to do that. So more than likely the monorail is staying. So what does that mean for Avatar? This is a very small footprint, is it not? So you've probably heard that they are building a new transportation center over in the parking lot behind the Harbor Boulevard hotels, and there will be a new skybridge and a new Esplanade entrance. They announced that in conjunction with this announcement of Monsters Inc. disappearing and Avatar taking its place. And what they are going to be doing is taking part of the transportation center, that is the area where the Toy Story shuttles and things like that drop off. They're going to be taking all of that out. So this building right here, this Studio 17, the footage that you're seeing on your screen right now is the back end of that building. And you can see the area where the Toy Story buses go. I zoomed in, my camera doesn't have great zoom, I'm sorry. But it's going to take up this area. So this area out in the Esplanade is going to be taken over by Avatar. And so what we're likely to experience here with the monorail is a couple of things. Potentially, they're just going to cover it with some sort of facade so you don't even see it. But it's also possible that the entrance to the land will not even begin until you're on the other side of the monorail track. So that this, in a sense, would be part of the entrance, and there might even be like a little tunnel. You know how kind of they've got several tunnels to go into Galaxy's Edge? They may do a similar tunnel to enter the land right there. And if that's the case, then that means that this stage over here is also safe. What that means for the Hollywood Lounge, hard to say. It could be safe. It could also get torn out. They haven't said one way or another whether the Hollywood Lounge is going to get torn out. But I absolutely would not be surprised if this building over here, this is stage 12, if stage 12 becomes a show building or part of the show building or something, for the ride that they're bringing in. It's a boat ride. They've already confirmed that. They've showed us pictures, and people are theorizing, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but it'll be very similar to Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, which is some amazing stellar technology, and so it'll be a fantastic attraction if that's the case. But that, I believe, is also to be included in Avatar. So they could potentially rip out this as well and use this entire space, in which case that's where they would have to hide the monorail if the land is already going to be over here. But if that's just a show building, they can have the entrance to it being on the other side, and you wouldn't even know the difference, and all this would look the same over here on this side. Hard to say at this point, but just some conjecture about that news. We don't do a whole lot of conjecture like that here on the channel, and I'm not going to get into it any further unless we get more information. But the important thing for you to remember is that Monsters, Inc. closing permanently early 2026. So note that, get your trips in if that is a big high priority for you before early 2026. Now let's talk about something else. No, we're not going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. In fact, we're actually going to talk about this set of double doors over here. This is the parade start location for the first showing of Better Together. And in addition to Wondrous Journeys, it has also been confirmed that Better Together will pause temporarily during the Halloween season. At least during Halloween for sure. We don't know about Christmas just yet, but they have the Frightfully Fun parade during Oogie Boogie Bash, and they are not going to run both of those parades at the same time. Now, I know that one runs only during Oogie Boogie Bash. It doesn't run during the day. However, Better Together has been confirmed to be paused, at least for the Halloween season. We'll update you as we get closer to Christmas and see whether or not it comes back during Christmas once the Frightfully Fun parade is done, which the last day will be August 31st. That's the last Oogie Boogie Bash. This item is just a reminder in case you missed my last update, but this pathway that connects Avengers Campus to Cars Land is closed and will be for the greater part of the next year and a half or so. So if you're looking to get to Cars Land, you do have to go back out of the land, exit Avengers Campus, and go through the main entrance to Cars Land, which we're going to go do right now because we have to talk about something at Cars Land. And that's because we need to talk about Radiator Springs Racers. Now, this one isn't happening until August, but news has already been making waves, so it bears mentioning now. Radiator Springs Racers is set to close on Monday, August 18th. I don't know how loud that was, I'm gonna say it again. Monday, August 18th with no known reopening date. Now, this is so far out there, it doesn't even appear on the refurb calendar right now. However, multiple trusted sources are reporting this closure. Tom with Disney Tourist Blog, a fellow Getaway Today affiliate that I had a pleasure of meeting at our most recent event, shared that Radiator Springs Racers rarely closes. And over its 13-year history, it's only closed a handful of times, none of them longer than a week. However, this one, again, based on Disney Tourist Blog, will last about a month. If that's true, we can expect Radiator Springs Racers to be closed until mid to late September. No word yet on what they're doing, but it is a 13-year-old ride, and perhaps it's just time for some extended maintenance. Starting today, Thursday, June 26th, Lamplight Lounge's Boardwalk Dining, which has historically been walk-up only, is now requiring reservations. You should still be able to eat back here with walk-up. Like, you can still do walk-ups. All the restaurants that take reservations still allow walk-ups, but this place used to be walk-up only. Why is that important? Well, if you want things like the lobster nachos, they're only available at the Boardwalk Dining now. They don't actually have the lobster nachos in the main Lamplight Lounge restaurant. They used to be that you could order things from either menu in either location, but now they've separated them a little bit more than they had before. And so lobster nachos, not available at the regular Lamplight Lounge, only here at the Boardwalk Dining. Our second biggest closure of the video, and probably one that you'll want to make note of, is that Incredicoaster is set to close on Monday, July 28th. Now, it's way at the end of the month, but this will impact people who are coming in August specifically, and those who are coming at the end of July, as this has no known reopening date. I'll repeat it again, the calendar goes through August 7th, so we know that it'll be closed at least through August 7th. We don't know exactly when it'll be open. Typically closures for this ride only last about a week, so this is already going longer than that. I'd expect to see an end date here in the next few days for a max of about 2 weeks, but I can't say that for certain. There's a lot of rides going down for refurb this summer, and a lot of them are surprising, especially for this time of year. So I just don't know what's going on here. I guess they were afraid to do too much during the spring break time period, but they wanted to do a lot before the 70th. Now that the 70th is kicked off, they feel like they can do it during the summer. I don't know. But there's a lot of closures. A lot of closures. I mean, a surprising amount of closures. For the middle of summer, I don't know, don't get me started. Adding to that long list is actually the Pixar Pal Around. Closes on Monday, July 14th, and will reopen on Friday, July 25th. This is about a 2-week closure. No news on what's going on here either. Just note the closure if you're going to be visiting during this time. I mean, let's be real, are there that many people really interested in Mickey's Death Wheel? I like it, and it always has a long line. But I know a lot of people tend to hate heights, hate swinging, hate the Ferris wheel in general. But I always have a good time when I do get to go on it. We talked about one set of double doors. Now let's talk about the other set of double doors. This is the other area where parades come in and out of, but it was also announced in conjunction with that news about the new transportation center, as well as Monsters, Inc. disappearing and Avatar taking its place, that the new Coco attraction is going to be going in this area right here, or at least the portal to it, the entrance to it, is going to be going in right here. The attraction is actually going to be behind the Incredicoaster and Emotional Whirlwind. So it's going to be on the other side of the track, which is why we have to go through those double doors there. And there will be like a little bit of a corridor before you get to a building. There's a building back there already. I don't know if they're going to reuse that existing building as the show building for Coco, if they're going to build and expand upon it back there. What does that mean for parades exactly if we are removing one of these portals where the parades come in and out of? I don't know. Just the short of it, I don't know. There's a couple of different ways that they could solve that problem, and I'm not going to try to guess. But, I mean, it's going to go one way or another, where they're going to lose parades at DCA, or they're going to come up with an alternative way to have parades at DCA. Bottom line there, bottom line. And I think they're probably going to try to keep the parades, so hopefully they come up with a solution. I'll let you know if I actually get more news about what their solution might be. The Redwood Creek Challenge Trail is set to close again. Yes, it's set to close again on Monday, July 21st, and has no known reopening date. This is either one of two things. It's either prep work for Villains Grove, which is returning for Oogie Boogie Bash, which begins on Sunday, August 17th. So we do have a hard and fast date for when this will absolutely be open by. Or it's related to the ongoing renovations being done to the Grand Californian Hotel. The last closure for Redwood Creek had nothing to do with the area itself, but construction from the hotel interfered with the area. Last year, they installed permanent fixtures for the projections for Villains Grove and made them seamlessly blend in with the area. So a lot of the setup for Villains Grove has been reduced to where I don't see them really needing this closed for a month just for Villains Grove. Which leads me to believe that it is related to the Grand Californian Hotel. And I didn't say it was going to be closed for a month. We can only see 2 weeks currently, but just that it will absolutely be open again by August 17th at the latest. So it could open earlier, somewhere between August 7th and August 17th. But we know that it'll absolutely be open by the 17th. And the last thing at Disney California Adventure that we need to mention is over here at Soarin'. No, the ride isn't closing or anything, but I did want to let you know that I believe it was within the last month that the Paris scene in Soarin' was updated to the Walt Disney World version. So previously they would take you up by the Eiffel Tower, and because you were so close to the Eiffel Tower, the refraction on the IMAX screen, if you were on the A terminal or C terminal, would cause the Eiffel Tower to bend. Now they are coming at it from a distance so that this happens to a lesser degree. It still sort of bends from what I've seen online. I don't have any footage to show you, but we will get in there and ride it one of these days. I just don't have time today and update the footage for the new Paris scene. But that is already effective over here at Soarin' in Disney California Adventure. Next up, it's time to go through downtown Disney, and the first item of note is that Earl of Sandwich, right here on the eastern end, finally has a closing date. It will be closing on Friday, July 25th, to make way for the new Porto's location that will be coming in here. Now, as a reminder of the scope and the size of Porto's, take a look at the existing Earl of Sandwich building, and it will extend all the way down to those 2 ticket booths over there. I'm going to put some footage in I just took on the other side of the ticket booths. Those 2 ticket booths are going to be demolished. Disney filed a permit to demolish them, and the artwork that shows the concept art for Porto's has it taking up this entire area. Now, we were just at Porto's in Buena Park for Knott's Berry Farm. I have a separate Knott's Berry Farm video that will be coming out in a couple of weeks. It's not super important on my radar, so when I get everything else Disney done, it'll come out. But that Porto's was huge, absolutely massive. I don't know if I got any footage of the outside of the building, but here's some footage of the inside of the building. Absolutely huge, absolutely massive, rather large. And if the size of that building just gets plopped here, I could see it taking up this entire footprint from the ticket booths over there all the way over here to the Earl of Sandwich building. It's that big. It's that impressive. I will also show you some of my food that I ordered from Porto's. I didn't film us eating it or anything, just filmed some footage of what we got. It's also extremely affordable. These things are like $1, $2, $3 each. It's really not that expensive. Pretty manageable. And if they keep those prices here at Downtown Disney, it is going to be, just as popular as it is in Buena Park, if not more so, because of its location. This is going to be a really great place to come get some food, some affordable food, and amazing, great tasting food too. It's not just cheap. It's also great tasting. It's really good. We're surprised we'd never gone sooner. We'd seen like lines and things and just didn't want to deal with it in the past, but wow, Porto's gonna be phenomenal. And Earl of Sandwich is even pretty affordable, $8 a sandwich. So, and that's at Downtown Disney. So I think that they'll probably keep the affordable pricing. I'm looking forward to Porto's a lot. On June 16th, a permit was filed to remodel Sephora in Downtown Disney. And there's currently no news on when it's going to close, but the permit included mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and installing storage racks. So installing some storage racks here. This is a 4,500 square foot space, and it may be closing for some remodeling soon. We just don't know when. I also thought we'd provide an update on the Tortilla Joe's demolition. The only thing left of Tortilla Joe's is a little bit of pillar sticking there in the back. I don't know if you can see that from your screen. It looks pretty tiny on the screen that I'm looking at, but the screen's about an inch big on my Osmo Pocket 3. Anyway, getting ready for Arthur and Sons here, as well as the Pearls Roadside Barbecue. 2 different locations that are going to be coming here. No upward momentum yet. Still in demolition mode, getting rid of Tortilla Joe's, but it's almost completely gone. I can see a backhoe over there doing some sort of digging, doing some sort of pounding. It sounds like maybe still crushing some stuff down, removing some things, but it's coming along. It's almost completely gone. With Earl of Sandwich closing down in the East End, what about their new location down here in the West End? When is this slated to open? They just said winter of this year. Winter. No specific date, no specific month, but we know that the location in the East End is going to be closed, and before this location on the West End opens, both are going to be closed for about 4 to 5 months, probably. Just give or take, if I had to guess. Maybe a little bit longer. Winter might be able to spill over into the beginning of 2026. In the meantime, the little kiosk down here by the security area for Downtown Disney, if you parked over in the parking garage and you wanted to come over here, it will be open and is open, has been open this whole time. It's been open for quite a while. They've had both the East End location where La Brea Bakery used to be open, and then they've had this kiosk open for quite a while. This kiosk will continue to be open until the Carnaby Tavern new location that they're building will be open and ready in the winter. So you can still get Earl of Sandwich. It's just going to be down here. Now, where is down here specifically? Right next to the ESPN building. I always forget that this little kiosk is here sometimes. Din Tai Fung is right over there, and then the Parkside Markets. This is the Star Wars trading post right here, so kind of helps you get an idea. There's the little kiosk, and there's the security for Downtown Disney coming from like Pixar Pals parking structure. And that's going to be it for our time here today at Disneyland, giving you a July construction update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like like and subscribe button on your way out. If you got questions, drop them in the comments below. I am always happy to answer them. Click this playlist to check out our Hawaii videos that I mentioned earlier if you want to watch those. Again, the entire vacation is complete. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time.